Hello, thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Wednesday, January 15th edition of our video devotionals. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope your Wednesday is going well. Hey, we're already at the middle part of the work week and school week once again. It being January 15th, and we're obviously halfway point of already this first new month of the new year. So that's how time just continues on. So hopefully this day is going well for you. Of course, Wednesday evening church service for many of us. Please attend. Be committed to that. That's probably as important for you as it is any other aspect of looking at it. I think it's important to be there to encourage others. I think the man of God's got something for you. It's like I say, it's like preparing a meal. No one's showing up, or preparing a meal, and people just saying, "Well, I'm just not hungry." No, come hungry for the things of God, and you'll never be disappointed coming to the house of God. I believe that. And if you'll come with an earnest heart, then it'll be worth your time for sure, and you'll be doing it as unto the Lord. All right, so we're going to be in Genesis chapter 45 today. We're going to look at a few places here regarding the story of Joseph. So find that if you will. Otherwise, just a simple thank you for watching the videos. We do appreciate you. Okay. All right. So at this point, Joseph, of course, is down in Egypt, and he's come out of that prison. He's been elevated to a very high position. Pharaoh dreams a dream about plenteous years of corn and all of that. Then there's going to be 7 years of great famine. Well, they're about 2 years into that, and Jacob has sent his sons into Egypt to get corn. So they do that. They come back. They leave Simeon there, one of the brothers. And Joseph, because he knows what he's doing, they don't know it's even him that they're dealing with. He says, well, when you come back, you've got to bring that other brother that was left. That, of course, is Benjamin. So they end up doing that. And then Joseph makes himself known to his brothers. You imagine how those brothers would have felt. And the Bible tells us a little bit about that. So I want you to notice here in verse number 4. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. Now notice this, for God did send me before you to preserve life. Then we're skipping down, and then he also says here in verse number 7, and God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save our lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and a lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Well, here's my first thought, of course. Joseph, of course, he's elevated to that position. You think, well, good for him after all he's been through. And then his brothers show up, and they're needing food, and there's a lot that goes on there. But eventually Joseph, of course, reveals himself. And again, you can imagine their response there. But to me, one of the big responses, of course, is how Joseph responds to them. He basically says, look, you did it. It wasn't good. It wasn't right. And yet God did it, really, so that you could be spared, we could be spared. And so it's kind of that Romans 8:28 truth, basically. All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. So I look at it like this. Man, shame on those boys for doing what they did. I understand that. And yet God used that to do his will and to perform something that really affected the known world. So I guess practically speaking, here's how you got to look at life. Look, people can do things against you, and especially if you're serving God, and you say, man, that's just not right, not fair. And again, we could take the approach that Joseph did not take. He said, look, I'm gonna get through this. God was with him. And yet God does use people. God does use events for his own good and his own glory. I think those boys are still responsible for their heart and what they did, and yet God says, I'm going to take that and I'm going to use it in a mighty way. So I don't think they're off the hook, so to speak, but I do believe that God says, hey, I'm God. I know how to use these things, and God does to further his cause and his will and his glory and his kingdom. So think about that in your life, especially when it's maybe in a downturn. Think about how God can be seen through this and be used in all this and use you through it. We're going to stop right there. Lord willing, we'll see you back tomorrow. Thank you for watching and have a great day.